Is this thing working?
I'm just kidding. Act normal, man.
You're the one acting weird. I'm just sitting here.
I got the giggles. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Okay. We choose a topic. Once we choose a topic, we just talk about it like regular civilians.
I mean, we are regular civilians. Just talking about topics.
Okay. We can talk about dating.
Sure, let's talk about a little bit of dating. We're gonna cover a lot of shit because I already know we're gonna get off the rails here.
You think so?
Yeah. The way this whole trip has been going, you get super philosophical all of a sudden, then we get into a whole different deep discussion about how stars impact your period cycles. I feel like that's where we're gonna end up.
Let's see. Okay, I'll start off with, what do you think the dating atmosphere is like right now compared to when we were in high school?
In growing up, that's a tough question, man. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the dating life, especially in Los Angeles, it's very, it's a lot of status. It's kind of dress well, have a good following on social media, and everything else will follow kind of thing. And it's really hard to find genuine people. And even those genuine people that you meet, a lot of times, they still care for those kind of things. You know what I'm saying?
What was your, do you remember a relationship in high school? Or
Yeah.
what was your longest relationship?
Longest month was definitely 3 months.
3 months is the
Nothing
longest
crazy,
one?
yeah.
You've been very active.
Mm-hmm.
And you look inwards a lot, which I respect so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, and you have good, long-lasting relationships with friends, which
Yeah.
I would feel like would carry over to your relationships when you do find someone.
Mm-hmm.
Why? I guess it will lead us to a topic, but why haven't you found someone that you want to date?
Never found anyone I'm interested in that aspect. Here specifically. Like everyone here is, they're not really, I look for someone very active, but at the same time, I'm open to trying new things. And no one I've been interested in has kind of kept me coming back for more, in a sense, in more than a sexual way. I've never been able to connect with someone on a deeper level in that sense.
Even in the fitness realm?
Even in the fitness realm, yeah.
Do you see a disconnect? I mean, you connect really well with me as a friend.
I don't know. I think friendship-wise, it's fine. I don't know what it is. I think maybe, fitness realm, I feel like it's very, there's this huge popularization of fitness, specifically gym fitness and kind of powerlifting. Everyone's
Even
kind of...
in triathlon world, right?
Even in triathlon world, everyone loves being super fit. And I think because this trend is going around, it's normal to be very fit, but at the same time, it isn't normal. Maybe in your surroundings, everyone is very fit, but if you look at the rest of America, majority
or the world,
many people are not in great physical shape. We're just
specifically doing Ironman trials of running 70 or competing at 70 miles distances.
Yeah. A lot of people, even a lot of people that I meet that are very fit can't compete in that, but they still, they should hold themselves to a high regard fitness-wise, but they have trouble connecting with other fitness people. Because I connect with anyone that is able to be modest. And it's hard to find people that are modest in the fitness world.
I've also noticed from the little time we spent together, you're not the chasing type.
No.
Would you say you're the chasing type?
I love chasing, but
at what point would you stop pursuing a female?
That's the thing.
I feel like you're different.
It takes a long time for me to stop pursuing, but I will not actively pursue. I pursue in a different way.
Personally, as a short male, not that I've never thought of myself as short. I've always felt really big, and I've had tall friends who are very capable of athletic ability in the arts as well as in the sciences. I've never saw myself as a little person. And as I grow up, I see the impact it has on women that date me. I see the social pressure on them, so I don't blame them. Hey, you take your L, you walk away. That's how my motto was to approaching women. Now that I think about it, how far would I go? How much pressure would I put on myself to pursue a woman? Like, I find you so attractive. Okay, I'll ask you on a date. You say no. If we're not in the same social circle, I'm not going to pursue you anymore. I think that's creepy.
Totally.
Right? But let's say you're in a group of friends. Let's say you, me, and a couple of your close friends are at a party. We're like the group, right? I'm also not the type that will take the limelight. I will let everyone shoot their shot, and if she's like, I'll be last. Which I don't know what that says about me.
Very humbling. That like
it might be a self-worth thing, but at the same time, if she chooses you last, I know a lot of people would say that that's kind of disrespectful. You know, if you don't choose me first, I don't want to be your second option. I don't know about that. Like, if she's going around trying to find out what's her type, she's
exploring herself. You're exploring. You know, there's no wrong there, for sure. But it's interesting that you bring up the short, like your height thing, because you know I've known you for a long time, but we've only hung out a handful of times. But every time I've hung out with you, the last thing that comes through my mind is your height, because you have literally such a tall personality.
Thanks, dude.
I don't think I could describe it any other way.
I honestly don't. Once you get within a circle or a connection with someone, you don't look at their facial features.
No.
You feel the energy. That's it.
Yeah, literally.
You don't look at their any kind of
you stop
physical
paying attention.
features. Yeah,
totally.
They become almost a story in your head. Like, this person's so fun to talk to. This person's I laugh with them a lot, or there's no awkwardness or pressure to speak.
Yeah, so what's your dating life like?
I think the dating world right now is more divided than it was when we were younger in high school.
Okay.
I think Andrew Tate, I think the red pill community, I think the women wanting to be more independent and not settling down, career orientated. And their statistic says that after, you know, when they get to 30, when their clock starts running out, they do want to settle down and have children, even if they are CEOs.
Totally.
And I'm not going to say any numbers. I don't know the numbers specifically, but I know that they become more self-aware.
Yeah.
And they're like, my clock's running out. I don't want to not have this option. I want to make sure I have those kids and a family. So regardless, maybe I'm 29. I just turned 29 and you're 24.
About to turn 24.
Yeah. So you're much younger than me. I don't know what's your goal for finding a woman. Like, what would you tell your younger self, or is it an indefinite in the air type of thing for you?
Like being married?
No, like how are you gonna find your next girlfriend?
I've looked at it as the more you chase, the less you receive. Like,
so
you should
no dating apps,
no
no bars, no going to
So by
events.
chasing, I mean chasing is actively going out of your way. No, sorry. I don't see chasing as actively going out of your way. Like, let me rephrase it. Sorry. So going out, going to bars, being on dating apps. The dating apps, yeah, that can be chasing, depending on how you use it. If you're if you're only using it at your peak.
I don't get any matches on dating apps.
Yeah.
I get no matches on dating apps.
It's very hard.
And if I do get matches on dating apps, they don't want to talk to you that much. You have to say something so extravagant, so elegant.
You blow them out of the water, and you're like,
it's so much pressure, and it's so much time. You catch yourself swiping maybe an hour a day sometimes.
Yeah.
And even if you're doing the really fast way, just so someone will swipe on you and maybe you can have a conversation and meet up somewhere, that still takes a lot of mental and emotional energy. It's crazy.
The fact that you go on these dating apps and you don't get any matches, it's so freaking, it makes you wonder your self-worth.
For sure, yeah.
You genuinely
I think it's
wonder.
a height thing and a little bit, obviously dating apps are for looks.
Yeah. They work for, like, you need good photos and you need to look presentable in the social environment that you are in.
What's your success?
Like, I'd say I had moderate success in the Los Angeles area, but since I'm moving to this new area, I set my location there and just been popping off.
Yeah.
And I'm
what
like,
kind of women are you swiping on you?
on swiping on me, it's a vast majority of athletes or like active people where they're just like very outdoorsy. So
Are you putting your triathlon photos? Are you putting?
I have like one triathlon photo.
What's your grid look like?
My grid, it's first photo is me with a bunch of balloons, and it's just like the balloons in the back, me like posing. Okay. Second photo, oh my god, you're putting me on the spot here. Second photo is it's a photo of me, my brother, and two of my best friends.
Okay,
two friends, just
family.
like at a bar, like shooting the shit, just looking like really happy. Then I got another photo, like close up of my face. And then I just put a photo, I think it was one of the videos you took of me, or one of the ones from my Instagram or Reels, where it's kind of like athletic, kind of looks like I'm swimming, like putting my wetsuit on.
Okay,
I think I put that video on there.
Yeah.
And then I have my star sign, which is surprisingly, the star signs work. Quote me on this.
It's almost like a religion.
It's literally a religion. I've had women message me being like, oh my God, you're stars. We're not compatible at all. But then they keep messaging me, and you're like, okay, that was a great opener for her. But then you have other. But like,
you think she was doing that as an opener, not as
an opener? But like at the same time, it's like, why would you start off with that negative? You know, like kind of like making fun of my stars.
I wonder if they believe it. I don't believe it, and there's enough evidence. I believe that it completely debunks it. Mm-hmm. However, there was this funny thing from these red pill communities where they say, tell a girl what's your sign, and then say two. You're supposed to lie twice. You say one sign, and she says, I don't like that one. She's like, oh, I lied, and this is actually my sign. And then they're like, oh yeah, you fit that one too. Well, yeah, that was the lie too. This is my actual sign. It almost plays on the comedy of it. You know, it's like they want you to be this version of the ideal man in their head, and they're trying to make it as if not they is hard, but a lot of women, or maybe even some men, want to put you in this box of perfect qualities that are compatible with me. But I think just like fortune cookies, they're universal. I hope you have a good, the next few, whatever. They're universal. So at different stages of your life, you're going to experience sadness and grief. You're going to be introverted, and sometimes you're going to be more social because you have more friends and more in shape. So you're doing extroverted activities.
Yeah, they're very generic.
They're very generic, and I feel like they're universal.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't gone too much into horoscopes in there. I mean, I don't really believe in them, but I also think, like, an ongoing joke I have is I say, if a girl didn't ask you about your sign before the second date, then you shouldn't date her.
Why?
It's like, what kind of girl doesn't ask you your sign these days? You know, every girl asks for your sign. Oh, she just brought us wood. The camp host just dropped us off wood.
Nice. All you have to do is make that.
She loves me, man. I love it. No, I love her.
They hooked us up with good price camping.
Good campground, good company. I was talking to her while you were shooting some film for like an hour. Oh man, I think she's even coming over here. This is awesome.
Yeah, I hope we talk to her for a second.
Yeah, that's amazing.
What's your favorite sport?
That is such a tough question. That's why
I saw you had a surfboard. You do kayaking. You do swimming.
So, I've tried surfing. I wasn't the biggest fan. Shoot me. Okay. But I found I'm not that patient yet. I think it's a sport. Surfing, you need to be a bit more patient, and I am a very patient person, but not in my sports. I like to get my adrenaline out in sports. So for the few waves I have caught, wasn't a huge fan. Definitely my favorite sport right now, I hate to say this, but I think it's gotta be running.
Running is super fun.
There's a certain peace in it, like literal peace when you're running.
I also think sports are a very good way of meeting women and good guy friends.
Yes.
Like, I go to the basketball court. It's 25 minutes away from my house. And I'm fairly athletic, so I could keep up with the guys. Even though I'm not that good, I could still keep up. So I'll pick up a game of 5-on-5. and we'll have a great time. We'll play 4 games, 3 games, and you see these guys maybe 3 or 4 times a week for like a month. You guys are like great friends.
Yeah.
You follow each other, and eventually they're gonna invite you somewhere, and you're gonna meet someone's friend who thinks you're cool because you have now credibility within the group.
Totally.
And a lot of people overlook that. They mope a lot and they spend a lot of time on dating apps. But if you went into sports, not only do you find a hobby for yourself, but you might even find someone that likes what you like.
Yeah, it's very interesting that, like, sports is a very connected thing, but it can also be a very lonely thing. Like, you meet all these runners out there, right? That they go to run because they want the alone time. Like a lot of parents, a lot of adults, they run to get away from their life, to get that hour alone, away from the kids, away from the home, and then they'll come home, they'll feel cleaned, they'll feel like they processed everything they need to do. And I can relate to that. I mean, I'm not running away from anything per se. Like, I'm not escaping from my house, I'm not escaping from... But the time you take when you're running solo or swimming or biking, and the ability to be able to process everything that's going
and
into
this
your
is
house.
abnormal amount, like 27-mile bike rides,
Like
10 5-mile runs.
Like 10, 15 hours a week, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah.
I'm like doing this.
You're definitely in the top 1%.
And in all honesty, it's euphoric. Like, the ability to know that you've thought through, not that you've thought through a solution to all of your problems, but you've played out like what's happening in your life and kind of understood and made peace with what's going on. And I think that's how honestly, that's how I deal with most of my stress. It's just alone time.
Yeah. I do a lot of creative stuff and basketball. I like competition. I like nagging
like
people
it.
on.
Yeah.
You know, I like going to basketball courts and like laughing and
Shit
competing.
talking.
Not even shit talking, but it just
You're just pushing the other
it's
person
good
to
to
work
push
harder.
push and get that push back. That's so fun for me.
I get that.
It's so exciting. I also like talking to strangers. I think one of the most fun things in the world is talking to random people.
It's interesting.
Look at the benefits of you talking to a random person at this campground has reaped you.
Totally.
You talk to her and she give you a
Totally.
that's crazy.
That's one of the reasons I'm very happy to be leaving Los Angeles is I feel like everyone there specifically was very hard to talk to. Don't get me wrong. Plenty of nice people. I've lived there my whole life.
Let's dig into that. Have you heard of that saying? An older man goes to the airport, and a young gentleman from New York is leaving. So they're now he's arriving now at the New York airport, right? So this young gentleman is asking this older man for advice. Hey, look, I don't like New York. New York is a horrible place. People are assholes. I'm going to California. What are the people like over there? Do you think I'm going to make friends? And the older man who's going to New York says, no, you're not going to make any friends. It's the same thing. It's the same thing. A young woman who's and gender doesn't play a role, just a differentiating identity thing. She says to him, I have so many friends in New York and I'm moving to LA and I'm so afraid that I'm not going to make friends there because I have so many friends here. And he's like, you're going to be fine. You're going to make just as many friends there. Basically pointing out to the fact that whatever's internal and how you process your surroundings is going to,
So, yeah, I get that saying. And don't get me wrong, I do believe LA is a great place to meet people and to make friends. You can make a lot of friends in LA. Like, the group and the connections you can make there, amazing. Some
money, business,
business, friendship. Some of the best people live in that city. But everyone has their guard up in these big cities. Like New York, LA. You go to a small town and you just want to have a conversation with someone. In a small town, people will talk to you for hours. Like, they're not in a rush to get anywhere. Like, even like you walking on the street of New York, could you imagine stopping someone trying to talk to them?
I could imagine. I don't know, because now I'm thinking about small towns as a closed society of people that are very comfortable with each other, and outsiders might scare them. Because I went to Kentucky, in La Brea, Kentucky. I'm probably pronouncing that incorrectly. But being a brown person in a completely different community, not that my race had anything to do with it, but just being different, maybe it was my mindset, because in LA it's a comfortable space, so I'm more willing to approach someone and talk, and I know the results are going to be like. But in a out of comfort zone area, I'm less likely to engage into social.
Interesting.
Maybe it's all dependent on you. So that's what I was talking about, that story. So so I get what you're saying. Like, you think maybe, I don't know why people are in LA are closed off, but maybe in a small town in Eureka it might be different.
So I did have that similar thought that you were just mentioning, how you were saying, like, when you go to these other cities, you think you're the brownest person in the room, or you're the most ethnic person, right?
Subconscious, at least.
Subconsciously.
Not that it's true, but it's subconscious.
It's not true. It may or may not be true. It doesn't matter. That's what you're thinking. That's what's going through your head. I used to also kind of think like that, but I would be doing it in, like, cities in California, like small, like Big Bear. And we'd go in a restaurant, and I'm like, I am the tannest guy in this room. Like, there's
picking out your little idiosyncrasies,
And I'm like, there's no other tan people in here. Like, I am the darkest person in this room. Like, everyone's looking at me. And just you thinking that makes you see people look at you. Like, you can start imagining, and you start noticing.
It's like a manifesting thing.
You're manifesting.
It's so true. Okay, so sometimes I feel very confident, right? And I'll approach a woman to talk to her and establish a friendship or maybe some kind of story, a developmental, character development stage, right? When I feel very confident, I have a friend next to me, I feel like my friend is giving me support, like I have a backup. Not that a fight's gonna break out, but just that someone loves me and the love is there. So even if someone new does not accept me, I know that it's a lie. Other people do accept me, so I have some value.
Totally.
So if me and you were to go out to a bar, right? I would feel so confident to talk to a woman, and I also feel confident alone, but even more so. And I don't think about rejection at all. And I always do better. At least establishing a connection or making a potential friend. Not even that I'm going to sleep with her or anything. I don't think that way. But when I'm by myself and I'm scared, I could feel the hesitation in my words leaving my mouth. I could feel like I'm shaking right now too because I'm kind of cold. But yeah, like your hesitation, even like your facial features kind of change. You might not look as attractive.
Your mannerisms, the small things,
dude,
are what put people on edge.
So I think it still connects to the dating stuff. All of the stuff we're talking about, I think it all helps. What do you think drives confidence? Like, in you, at least.
Honestly, I've been thinking about this answer for a very long time. And the best answer I can come up with for myself right now, has got to be, like, me having such a strong community of friends around me. Like, me thinking that all of my friends gravitate to hang out with me makes me more confident, because I'm like, okay, if these people see something in me, I should definitely see something in me.
That external validation.
But not entirely external.
It connects with your internal validation.
Yes.
But it's proof almost.
Yeah,
like the proof's in the pudding.
Like, I know I'm such a great person, and then I see them and I see my friends validating it. Yeah, I'm like, if this person will be like, this is such a cool person, if they want to hang out with me, there must be something going on.
But you have high levels of reciprocity. Like, you give so much. You're not an ungiving person. People love giving people. Yeah. So I think it's a lot of work that your friends notice that. Now, coming from me, like just one of your friends, you know?
Yeah, it's very hard, but I enjoy it a lot. It gives you energy
taken
back.
Advantage of. Definitely.
You notice it, and that's when you stop giving to certain people, but it doesn't stop me overall. I think just changed the way I do it.
Giving should be, like, good for you. It should feel good. If it's not feeling good, something's going on.
Whenever it stops feeling good is when I stop doing it. That's how I look at it, because at that point it becomes a chore. And then when it becomes a chore, they're not enjoying it. And if I'm doing something for someone else's benefit and they don't even want it, then why am I even doing it?
How do you feel about pity? When someone pities you. You ever felt that?
I've never felt that.
I've felt that. I've seen people pity hang out with me sometimes, or like pity date me.
Interesting. How does that
go
feel?
On a singular date. Not when I notice it, I'm very turned off. Like, I don't want to be given something. I want to earn it.
Yeah.
So it's very like, maybe you feel sorry for me because I'm on the lower side of the economic level, or maybe you feel sorry for me for X, Y, and Z reasons. Whenever I notice that, it almost feels like you see me as a weak, you know? So I don't like it. I feel like people who are tough on you, I love those kind of people. I'm so drawn to tough people.
Interesting.
It's so fun. It's so fun because at least you see a hero in them. You can see a potential growth, especially if they're doing things that you like. I love
That's
people
awesome.
who are doing something very tough.
Yeah, I get that. When they're doing something tough, you know they're a tough person. It goes
Hardworking
without
people,
saying.
for
Yeah.
sure.
If they're sweating doing what they love doing, and it's hard for them, you know they're gonna give their all for everyone else. You know they're gonna put their all into whatever they put their mind to, in a sense.
When you date, what do you think your dating life's gonna be like? What's your ideal dating situation? How much does your girl talk to you? How much do you talk to her? Do you see each other all the time?
Someone I see like 3 times a week, at most. I don't want someone that's like.
What about when you start living together?
No, okay. That's different. When I say seeing, I mean like intensely hanging out, like spending time together. But like if we were to live together, like definitely don't want to be there their whole life. They need to have their own hobbies. They need to be able to do their own things for half the day without me. Like
I think that's so healthy.
I think, and then on
I
top
agree
of that,
on that 100%. Yeah.
it's definitely got to be where like there's so much trust that you don't even like, you forget that there's trust, in a sense. It's like just feels so natural.
Almost like you're with a good friend who's your roommate.
Yeah, exactly. Like it doesn't feel forced. Like you're not forcing, proving that you trust each other. It just kind of happens, which of course like takes a long time, and it's like the right people to meet. Two healthy people meeting, creating a genuine connection for that to happen. So I know it's not something everyone can find right away, or you can find with just anyone.
One thing growing up, and I haven't dated too many people, but this could be experience from my friendships as well as my relationships, is I was always confused about if they're a good friend or not a good friend, or if they're a good girlfriend or not a good girlfriend.
Interesting.
When you meet a good friend, you think back to your life, you're like, wow, Alex is such a paragon example. Why doesn't he make me feel inadequate? Why doesn't he make me think twice? Why doesn't he make me feel as if I'm putting in a lot of effort and they're not putting any effort? Why do I have to second doubt it? There's no doubt. I wish that if I could go back and at least give myself advice on dating, is that when you are in doubt, that's a huge red flag.
100%.
Even a little bit, you're like, oh, this doesn't feel something inside of you is telling you like you're giving more than you're receiving, and this is not okay. Maybe if you have an obsessive compulsive disorder, maybe if you're too clingy, that's a different issue.
Yeah.
But when you do find a good friend, it puts in hindsight 2020 all of your bad friends that you hung out with when you could have been friends with someone who would appreciate your love for them. So that's kind of cool.
But you have to get there. You have to work your way there.
Yeah.
You definitely have to have all of those shitty relationships to get to the good one.
And sometimes you're shitty. I was a shitty person. I'm still a shitty person, and I need to be better. But the thing is that when you grow, you find better friends, and you'll lose those friends if you continue to stay stagnant and they're growing.
You have to learn from your mistakes. It's okay to be a shitty friend.
Or make mistakes.
It's not okay to stay a shitty friend. Like if I'm a shitty friend to you and you say something to me about it, and now I know about it and I don't change, then that's...
Golden rules for me of never to do a friend. Never borrow money from your friend. These are like...
Yeah.
My mom taught me when I was a kid. Never borrow money from anybody. Like you should have... And obviously... If you're dying, that's a completely different. I'm talking about don't don't borrow money.
Don't put your risk on them.
Do not let your friends feel your burden too much. Like if you're going through too much, maybe not unpack your whole life on a 5-hour phone call on all your friends. They have a lot to do. Now, I'm not saying completely.
Yeah.
Just sometimes deal with the hard stuff a little bit more on your own than unpacking it on everybody, you know?
Don't expect them to work
because that will
through
make
your
them run
issues.
faster than anything else. Oh, this guy is so weak. He can't handle any adversity. So the no borrow money thing, don't be a burden on someone else. That means wash your own dishes. Don't be a jerk when you go to someone's house. You use their utensils and you just leave them there, and you come back the next day, do the same thing. Show up all the time. You know, that's what I mean. Don't be a burden. And giving because you're not going to receive in return. Like maybe host a party for them, you know, or give them a nice gift, or call them sometimes, even if they don't call you that often, and be like, I miss you. I hope you're doing okay. Yeah. Those things are like golden rules. Call your friends. Don't borrow money from them. Don't be a burden to them.
I'd like to go into the giving one more. I think that one's really important, to understand that you're not expecting anything in return.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten in that circle where I was like, oh, I did this thing for my friend, right? And now it's kind of like full 360 where I'm not really pressuring him. I'm doing pretty much exactly what he did to me. He just mentioned it, and I really took to it. I was like, he would really appreciate this if I showed up. And I kind of did the same thing to him, and he didn't show the same interest. He couldn't be there for me, or he didn't know, because I was just kind of expecting him to take it and run and be like, I'm going, I'm coming, you know, like showing that support that I thought I needed. But in reality, what I needed was him to literally do exactly what he did, let me down, in a sense, for me to realize I didn't need to get my hopes. I shouldn't have gotten my hopes up in the first place. I wasn't doing any of that.
Expectations, unrealistic expectations.
I wasn't, the expectations of what I thought I needed versus what I really needed were far from aligned.
Yeah. That's crazy. What do you think is going to happen in Eureka? What are your expectations for that?
Bruh, who knows? It's the future's problem.
Think it's going to look like this all the time in Eureka?
I kind of hope. I like it.
I don't know. I like the sun so much. But I do like this on occasion.
I like the marine layer, and then the no more marine layer, and then marine layer, like how it keeps rolling in and out. That's the best part.
Why, besides the paramedic stuff, why did you choose Eureka?
I really liked the idea of leaving home being Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And just going, like, the city seems like a very outdoorsy city. And I was like, I need this in my life. You know,
you've been there before?
I've never been there. It's right on the water. So I've gone a place like 3 blocks from the ocean, which I think isn't really much of a beach. I think I have to drive about 40 minutes. But then I'm like 15 minutes from school, and like the Redwood National Forest is right there. So I'm right next to the forest, probably like 30-minute drive. So I can go hiking, I can go swimming,
I can
go running. I'm right next to a bike path. So I've got all these things in my vicinity kind of setting me up to create hobbies that I can carry with me for the rest of my life, making me a stronger and better human.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
My goal is to get my own place too. LA's so expensive, but
yeah.
You're gonna do all those things. It'll be fun.
Thanks, my man.
I don't know how long we talked, but we should go cook food.
We should go. I'm hungry.
Watch it not be recording the whole time.
I hope it wasn't.
Even if it wasn't, it was a good conversation.
It was a great conversation.
I was recording though. I'm 99% sure. There's still that 1%.
Thank you.